So we're here. We're going to look at the heat of the BresBet Steel City Cup from last Sunday, and look forward to the semi-finals this Sunday coming of the BresBet Steel City Cup with Sam Tweed, trading manager from BresBet, and director of racing at Owlerton Stadium, Andrew Mascarenhas, alongside me, Rob Crawford. First of all, Sam, always nice to have you on board as you're deputising for Carl for this one, and obviously, great to see you again, Andrew. What was the standout performance of the heats for yourself?
For me, it would be Chelms's Bear. The back straight pace it showed again after getting troubles out of the boxes and to clock the fastest run of the day, it would be Chelms's Bear for me. That one.
So what stood out for you, Sam? Was it Chelms's Bear or just the consistency of the Jackson's runners, let's say, or?
I would have to agree. I have to agree with Andrew, Rob. The pace he showed around the first two bends down the back straight. I mean, even when he got the trouble, as soon as he's got into stride, you couldn't see any other result, despite him having to make up so much ground. He's obviously a massive player.
Yeah, I think when the traps opened, I think he maybe turned the first bend fourth or fifth dog, and then to bravery around those bends. And I think I said in commentary on the track commentary, it was like a hot knife through butter the way he just went through and just looked like it was putting further and further away. Which is always good. But we're going to go through and we'll look at all six of the heats. A little later on, I'm going to have a chat with Kelly Hodson, who managed to get all four of her runners through. She was really pleased as punch. There was even pictures of Kelly smiling, which is always a good show. And also, we're going to have a chat with Tom Hilburn, who managed to get a couple of his runners through. But first of all, we'll look at the first of the heats. That was Droopy's Trade, the eventual winner in one. No Better Feelings in two. Emmy Bellboy in three. Droopy's Extra Good in four. Romeo and Point on five. Carrot Canton in six. Droopy's Trade breaks well on the inside, just paces up quite nicely on the outside. Romeo and Point is tracking the action there, but then Droopy's Trade, the Patrick Jansen's runner, pulls further and further clear, and Droopy's Trade is one of those that's eligible for the £2,000 bonus. Gets out very smartly. Romeo and Point and Carrot Cantona for local trainers Kelly Hodson and John Spalander as they go round and into the home straight. So Droopy's Trade won in a time of 28.88, being tracked there by Romeo and Point, and Carrick Cantona was back in second place. Sam, what was your thoughts on the first of the heats?
Well, obviously, Droopy's Trade was a dog that performed so well in the gym crack. He eventually went off the odds-on favourite for the final, when unfortunately only finishing third. I think he won his heat and semi-final before that. I was taking a look over the weekend at his sectionals. I mean, it looks like he could improve another couple of lengths on his sectional from the weekend. He did 4.17, 4.18 during the gym crack heat. So I think there is a little bit of improvement to come from him again. And obviously he did the job really well, showed plenty of pace, slight crowding on the run-up maybe before going on and stamping his mark on the race, but he's a definite runner in this competition.
So, Andrew, how did you feel? It must have been good having two of the local runners coming through in second and third place in that heat.
Yeah, it's always good to have some local interest, and obviously Kelly's done very well to get all of us through, and John Spalander as well. So it's always good to a local dog in the semi-finals and potentially maybe the final. But I mean, Droopy's Trade, it won very well. It did step right out of the boxes, and I believe it's drawn trap 2 in one of the semi-finals, which probably suits it a little bit better, and it probably will break a bit better as well from trap 2, I would imagine.
Yeah, okay. And then the second of the heats went off at 4:42. In trap 1, we've got Droopy's Stats for Heather Dimmock. Arthur Minutes in 2. Romeo's still the winner is in 3. Too Much Chat. Katunda Kieran and Timmy Zunter. And Romeo's still the East Anglian Derby champion. Showed rivals a clean set of paws from the get-go here. And going around that second bend is already 3.5, 4 lengths to the good, and just pulls further and further away, and shows the class that he did show over at Great Yarmouth in that East Anglian Derby competition. Is a real proper competition dog. Timmy's Hunter, the pack curtain runner, who's been travelling to Ireland for the last couple of weeks, finished in second with local runner Katunda Kieran, back in third for Steve and Naylor. But a really impressive performance there, Sam, from a Cat 1 winner in Romeo Still.
Yeah, it's just a superb early pace dog, isn't it? I mean, he blasts out of the lids and puts plenty of distance between himself and the others before naturally kind of coming back to him late on. Obviously, it's a shame that Katunda Kieran's going to miss his place in the semi-final on Sunday. Ran on quite well in third, but I was quite impressed with the six dog Timmy's Hunter. I mean, he's looking pretty consistent at the moment. His times round Sheffield the last few weeks have all been pretty similar, but he's running well, and it's never a bad thing to be a wide seed in these competitions. You tend to get your box and get your run, especially with so many dogs that look like they need to lead to win. He would have a good chance of maybe qualifying again on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I was impressed the way that he ran the track first look back on the 21st of September over the 500 metres, taking a decent scalp in Ballymac, who did come in with quite a big reputation, and then ran over the 480s just to sharpen him up, but didn't stay on pretty well. Andrew, what was your thoughts on that second of the heats?
Well, I did tip Timmy's Hunter up at 50-1 again at competition, so hopefully he can make the final. Had a good judgment there. But yeah, Romo Steel quickly got into its pace and put a massive distance between the rest of the pack. Maybe tied up a little bit going home, but it's rightly the anti-post favourite for the competition. It's an absolutely phenomenal dog with Patrick Janssens and Dave Firminger's. So it'll be interesting because it is drawn a very, very hard semi-final, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's definitely a mouthwatering semi-final. But we'll talk about it in a few moments time. The third of the heats, this had Quill Quids in one for Esther Driver, Who Dares wins in two, Dear Jet Rocket for Tom Helbron, the eventual winner, was in three. Trap four here was vacant. Ballymac was pulled off colour. Killfield Goose and Romeo Missile, but pretty level break. And Dear Jet Rocket then just got into full stride and was giving rivals a bit of a merry dance, but Tom Helbron's runner here, coming round that second bend, just pulls a little bit clearer as they go down the back straight. Just looks a good thing. But Keyfield Goose to stay on fairly well and is starting to get a tad closer around these third and fourth bends. But Keyfield Goose hasn't been here at Owlerton since last December in the British Bred Derby competition. But Digit Rocket did win in a time of 28.84. Keyfield Goose in second place, and Romeo Missile for Kelly Hodson was back in third. So Sam, obviously Digit Rocket was a good performance, but do you think that the vacant trap in four helped him out?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's a dog. I'm just looking back through its form. If he hits the front, it tends to win, and obviously he's led out of the boxes on Sunday and ran well to perform a good time. I mean, he's another gym crack graduate. He didn't maybe quite look this class when running in the gym crack early on in his career. Struggled quite big prices in the heats, and he did make the semi-final, but he was sent off 33-1 for that. But obviously he's come back and is a lot stronger, a lot faster, and looks to be a lot better dog, and we're really impressed on Sunday.
That's it. Andrew, what did you think of Keyfield Goose and local runner Romeo Missile?
Well, Phil Perry's a trainer I rate quite highly, to be honest. Excellent breeder, good litter of pups coming through all the time. That litter, Goose and Maverick, are exceptional dogs as well. But yeah, it's nice to see Kelly getting a runner through. I'm happy with the split of seeds as well. What I've all got through, should make for a nice race in semi-finals. But it's good to see Tom Hilburn back entering with us again. Sheffield has always supported us really well in the past. Give us one hell of a final last year at Lynx Maverick and Wiki Ned. So I think he's hoping he can maybe duplicate that and go one better this year.
That's it. And we're going to get Tom's thoughts a little later on in this video. So I'll definitely pose the questions. Has he got another Lynx Maverick on his hands with GJ Rocket, or of course with his other qualifier that we'll see in a moment or two's time. So this is in the fourth of the heats. We had Ballymac, who was in trap number one. Optic Pharaoh was in two. Carrick Fergus in three. Romeo Ability in four. Our Big Bill was in five, and Jack Tavern Chief was in six. But Romeo Ability gets out and does that thing that those the Furman dogs do like to do, get out in front, and Romeo Ability, absolutely stunning dog, leads the rivals. Another merry dance, another Jim Crack finalist, another one eligible for that £2,000 bonus, who gets out in front, being trapped by Jack Chaventeith, the Glenfoot's runner, and Ballymac for Dean Blackbird back in third. Sam, what were your thoughts on Romeo Ability there?
Yeah, I mean, he's a fantastic dog. We saw that early on in this year in the gym crack when they first burst onto the scene, really, him and Alliance, and obviously just gone on from strength to strength since they're really good competition dogs. I mean, the kind of the pace that they show is phenomenal. However, there's quite a lot of pace left in the competition. So in the kind of semi-finals on Sunday, something's got to give, and I think we're going to see a couple of races where whatever leads will kind of win. But I was really impressed with the 6 Jack Tavern Chief. I thought he got plenty of trouble at the first bend. I may be wrong. Was that his first run at Sheffield? I don't think he trialled, did it?
Yeah, his first one, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he ran great down the back straight, and I think any kind of better break and avoiding any trouble. And I think he's another player who could maybe qualify again. I know the semi-finals are obviously very good, but he's going to stay out wide, and you'd like to think he's going to improve on that first look.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew, what did you take out of that fourth heat?
Just another superstar of Jansen's again, isn't it? With Romeo ability, it's looks a phenomenal dog again. I mean, like Sam said, Jack Tavern Chief did run well for its first look at the track. I thought it cut the bend quite badly at the first as well and chopped quite a few off. So if it runs the track a little bit better on the first bend, it should be in with a chance to maybe qualify for the final. It was nice to see Dean Blackburn get through as well. He entered 2 dogs and they both got through. Macaque, he's won a couple of opens at Sunderland. It was first look here today, on last Sunday, sorry. So that should improve as well for a second look, you'd have thought. But yeah, Romeo ability, he run exceptionally well, as did all of Patrick's, to be fair to him, on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. And then on to the fifth heat. This saw the defending Gibcrack champion, Elusive No More, and obviously eligible for that £10,000 bonus. But in trap number 1, we had Carmack Cash for us to drive, a Romeo Force in 2, Elusive No More, that Gimcrack champion, was in 3, Bouncing Monarchs in 4, Toddy's Tank in 5, and Clona Bingo was in trap number 6. But it was a pretty level start, and it sort of got a little bit messy there. But Toddy's Tank did show that sort of length to go, when a length to the good, just to pull out there, being trapped by Bouncing Monarch, who was in second place. Romeo Force, the eventual runner-up, is back in third here and just make up a hell of a lot of pace down the back straight with Carmack Cash. Elusive No More just battling things out towards the rear. So as they come round into the home straight, still Toddy's Tank, the Tom Helbron run, who was out in front, but Romeo Force makes up a hell of a lot of ground here to get up for second place, with Bouncing Monarch back in third. Toddy's Tank did win in a time of 28.71, which was the second fastest of our heats, but Toddy's Tank looks like another good dog for Tom Helbron, doesn't it, Sam?
Yeah, I was really impressed again. It's another one that I don't think had a look round Sheffield, and to do that kind of run first look, I thought was a great performance. You'd like to think there might be another length or two to find, and if you can do a 28.50, that's going to put you right there in the final should you make it. So now really impressed by the winner. Obviously, it was a shame to see Elusive No More go out. We dangled the carrot again of the bonus for the Gimcrack Steel City Cup double. And obviously the same trainer going for it again, and unfortunately he's fell at the first hurdle this time. But thought the 4 showed some good pace out of the lids, and obviously that's kind of cost Elusive No More his race. And we have laid a few interesting bets this morning on Bouncing Monarch, so somebody else must have liked what they saw.
That's it. Well, we're Bouncing Monarch, obviously a finalist in the Puppy Classic at Nottingham, and the winner of that heat, Toddy's Tank, a finalist in the recent Birmingham Cup as well, behind Chelmsford Bear, we're just about to see at the moment. But Andrew, what did you take out of that fifth heat?
Toddy's Tank, he run very well for his first look at this track. He's been in very good form, winning 5 opens from 9. Birmingham Cup, and a few some of the Newcastle. I mean, Bouncing Monarch, probably the youngest dog in the competition, I think, now as well. Looks like 500 a little bit too far for it, to be honest, but he obviously opens to some improvement with his age as well. I know Callum Day quite well as well. I think there was a very happy when he got the draw through for the semi-finals as well. Probably hence the few little bets you've took on it, Sam, as well. So we'll see on Sunday if managed to take some money off you.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's good. Always good. So on to the 6th and final of the heat from Sunday. Untold Euro was in trap number 1 for Dean Blackburn. Charles Bear The eventual winner, Craig Morris, was in 2. Arthur Job, Martha Oscar, Keith Rocky, and Romeo Cobra. But out in front, we've got Untold Euro leading as they go around the opening bench. A bit of scrimmage in there. Romeo Cobra's on the outside. But if we look here, Chelmsford Bear's just getting into stride, and this is like a hot night through butter as he went down the back straight. And it's Chelmsford Bear who went out and just looked like it was putting further and further away, with Untold Euro back in second place. Romeo Cobra was in third, but Chelmsford Bear winning the fastest of the heats in 28.70, and it looks a pretty special run there, Sam.
Yeah, phenomenal. I mean, like Andrew will have now, I used to sit in his chair, and we've seen a lot of races between us around Sheffield, and I would struggle to think of a dog that runs a better bend around Sheffield than him. I mean, just watching that replay back, he's the same pace on the straights as he is around the bend, and it's going to win him a lot of races.
Yeah, no, it was extremely impressive. I was really. What did you think of that, Andrew?
Exactly the same as Sam. It's run the track fantastically, and back straight pace were phenomenal. And to do the quickest winning time, considering the trouble it got at the run up in the first bend as well, is somewhat quite extraordinary. Craig's got it running very, very well at the minute, and he's probably eyeing another Cat 1 final up here at Sheffield.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go and we'll look at the draw, which the draw took place on Monday morning for the semi-finals, and I must admit my phone was buzzing and ringing red hot after that semi-final draw. But the first of the semi-finals, we've got Bouncing Monarch, the Dave Fradgley runner, in 1, Untold Euro in 2 for Dean Blackbird, Dearjet Rocket, the heat winner for Tom Helbrin in 3, Romeo Missile for Kelly Hodson in 4, Carrick Cantona is in 5, and Romeo Cobra is in 6. But obviously, heat winner in Dearjet Rocket. But I think there might be a bit more to come from Untold Euro and Bouncing Monarch in this one.
Yeah, I think looking at the race, like I touched on before, Dearjet Rocket seems to be a dog that, I mean, he's got a line there at Sunderland, led 4. Seems to be, he doesn't always lead races, but obviously when he does, a very good dog. Going to struggle to lead up the 1 and 2 here, so maybe it's a bit of a different dynamic for Sunday's race. I think whatever leads 1, 2, or 3 should go through. And if you're one of the outside traps, you'd be fancy running on for second, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew, how did you just see that first and semi-finals?
Well, you'd expect Untold Euro to come on. That was his first race since, I believe, January, after a period of being lame. But how much can it find on the clock? Can it find 40 spots? What's it's going to have to find to win the race? I'm not too sure. I think the winner will come from one of the inside tracks, 1, 2, or 3, and I expect 1, 2, or 3 to get second as well. But what would win it? I'm not too sure. I don't think there's much between tracks 1 and 3, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one to decide for that one, I would have thought.
Yeah, I must admit, I was commentating at Nottingham on semi-finals night for the Puppy Classic, where Bouncing Monarch did run. It broke really smartly, and that draw in the red jacket will prove really decisive, and that should run a really good race on the inside. So I was really impressed with the way it ran, and think it's got its box. It's knows what it needs to do now, and that having that look at the couple of looks it's had at Sheffield, one in a competitive race, will make all the difference there in the first of our semi-finals. The second semi-final of the BresBet Steel City Cup, that is going to be due off at 3:27. Romeo Steel, the East Anglia Derby champion, is in 1 for Patrick Janssens. Romeo Force for Kelly Hodson's in 2. Ballymac for Dean Blackbird's in 3. Keyfield Goose for Phil Milner's in 4. Romeo Point, another Kelly Hodson runner, in 5. And Timmy's Hunter for Pat Curtin. Andrew's Dark Horse is in the stripes of 6 here. Sam, how did you see our second semi-final going?
Yeah, I mean, we had Romeo Steel anti-post favourite for the competition, and that's where he remains after the heats. I think Connections will be really happy with the draw they've got here. I mean, looking at the race, I would probably expect to see the same forecast we saw on Sunday, with Andrew having a chance at landing his each way money in the final next week with 1 and 6. I mean, just the pace he shows is phenomenal. Obviously, some really good dogs in here again too. But I think Romeo Steele's his pace to the third bend's just electric. I can see him pulling clear again, and it's a case of what finishes second then.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew?
Well, it's not my money, Sam, but I expect it to pick second up, I'll be honest with you, Timmy's Hunter. I think Romeo Steele will hold its pitch on the inside and win that semi-final. The rest of them really need to lead 2, 3, and 4. Six is probably the strongest runner out of the lot of them. So I expect that to pick up the second place and qualify for the final for Patrick Curtin.
Yeah, okie dokie. And then this is the mouth-watering third of the semi-finals. Romeo Ability in 1, the Patrick Jansen's runner. Droopy's Trades in 2. Chelm's Bear is in 3. Toddy's Tanks in 4. Katunda Kieran has now been withdrawn lame, so that trap 5 is going to be vacant in the third of the semi-finals. Jack Tavern Chief is in 6. But Sam, this could have been a final that if this was a draw for the final, nobody would have complained, would they?
No, it's a fantastic race. This would be good enough for a Category 1 competition anywhere. Like I say, it's the big caveat here is that there's 3 dogs that probably need to lead to win. Only one will, and whatever does lead is kind of setting it up for Bear should he get a run. I think that's the key to the race. If Bear can feel himself around the first couple of bends and getting a pitch down that back straight, I would struggle to think of any dog holding him off at Sheffield with the way he's ran it so far. So hopefully we get 2 really good dogs qualifying for next week's final, and we get to see what happens then. Obviously, we touched on earlier the fantastic race last year. Maybe we get another really close finish this year with another exciting race.
That's it. And Andrew, obviously you got the 4 heat winners in 1 to 4, but Katunda Kieran's now coming out. Do you think that will give a lot more space for Jack Tavern Chief, the Glen?
Obviously got a lot more space, but can it come from behind any of the other 4? I'm not too sure. I do know it's going to be a fantastic third semi-final. Probably the best thing for Charles Bear could happen for it to absolutely drop out and just find the gap down the back straight and then take off. But if 1, 2, or 3, or even qualified, they deserve to be there to the final. And I think they'll probably have a favourites chance in the final as well, whatever wins this semi-final.
Yeah, so yeah, do you sort of see that yourself, Sam? The winner of semi-final 3 will be the favourite coming into the final, or it will have just franked a lot of form, to get it through the way it would have done.
Possibly. Obviously, like I touched on earlier, we have Steele as the anti-post favourite, and he remains that now. Beforehand, obviously, he'd ran the place well before. Electric, proper Category 1 dog, in great form too. However, it's a bit of a strange one now because a lot of the so-called big guns that are left are in this one. So, I mean, Romeo Steele's got to be an incredibly short price to make the final, which means he's got to be shorter anti-post. But yeah, I mean, if Chelm's Bear wins this in the manner he did last week, I could certainly see a scenario where we have a different favourite for the final.
Yeah, okay. So that wraps up the third of the semi-finals. That's Guildford at 3:47. We're just going to have a very quick look now at the anti-post betting, or the outright betting, I should say, for the competition. Katunda Kieran has come out, and there's this is the latest information as I had just before this. We put this together. Katunda Kieran has come out the 80-1 shots, but Romeo Steele is our favourite at 7-4 with BresBet. Chelm's Bear is second in at 3-1. Romeo Ability at 11-2. Sam, are you still confident the chances of Romeo Steele?
Yeah, like we just touched on there, Rob. I think it's one of those where if we were pricing up to qualify for the final, Romeo Steele is an incredibly short price, whereas some of those dogs around him, because they've drawn each other, they're a bigger price to make the final. So the final book probably will look totally different to what it looks like now. There is just one change to that list other than the Katunda Kieran withdrawal, and that's the bit of money we've laid this morning on Bouncing Monarch. Looking at it again and watching the replays with you two right now, I think we'll all agree he wants the 1 box. He showed pretty good pace, and he's now 33-1 from 50s, and there's every chance he's going to make the final, which each way 3 places as it stands at the moment would you'd be hoping you've got a chance of landing the each way money.
Yeah, exactly. And the Timmy's Hunt is still at 50-1, Andrew.
Yeah, I thought it might have been a little bit short after it qualified for the semi-finals, but I think it's got a good chance of making the final. Whether it can get top three in the final is another thing, but 50-1 I think is generous, Sam, to be honest. But we'll see on Sunday, won't we? We'll see on Sunday.
Yeah, I must admit, when you look at it and you sort of look at it with a sort of clear head on, Romeo Still, you'd like to think is definitely going to qualify for the final. If he doesn't, if he does next on the finals day, he definitely won't be going off a 7-4 shot on the day. So it's a case of it seems like it does seem quite a big price. Like we may look back at this in a week and a half's time and say, "Wow, what great value 7-4 would have been." But it's one of those things where it's quite. I think it's quite a big price considering we're all quite positive the fact that we think that he is going to make the final next week. But Sam, I think you're going to join. We're going to have both you and Carl for the review of the semi-finals next week and the preview for the final. You're going to be double-handed. So we're going to take us on force, the guys from BresBet. But your support is always really well appreciated in these competitions. Any thoughts so far on how things are going?
No, I think well, obviously we had the gym crack back earlier this year, and the entry wasn't where we wanted it to be. I think we've been rewarded this time around with a really strong entry. It's brilliant semi-finals, and just look at the names, the top 10 names even on that list that we've got for the semi-finals. It's well worthy of any Category 1 event.
Yeah, exactly. And Andrew, great support as well. And we're going to be going off a little bit earlier in the day on Sunday, slightly earlier, but we'll be able to know the finalists come the end of Sunday's meeting next week, and we'll have the following week to look forward to the whole of that to the final of yet another great BresBet Steel City Cup competition.
Yeah, it was a long day last Sunday for trainers who had to travel back, so I made the decision to make the race a little bit earlier this time. And then it'll also give me the opportunity to do the final draw straight after the last semi-final as well. So we'll get that straight out, and then Sam can decide what he wants to prize the Think Cup at then as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Sam, thanks ever so much for your time today, and we look forward to joining Carl back from his holidays, and we'll have a good look at that final this time next week on the same social channels. Andrew, thank you as always.